In today's video, I am going to be teaching you how to learn anything that you want to play on harmonica, and you can do it totally by ear. You don't need pre-written tabs where we're going. So if you're ready, let's go and get started with today's lesson. As I said before, today's lesson is about learning harmonica music by ear, but as you probably know, if you just play something and you pick up your harmonica and you try to figure it out, you got to know a lot of things first. And also there's a lot often mechanically happening that is really just hard to go and parse through it. And there are some tools that we can use to help us out with this. And they are called transcription programs, or alternatively a digital audio workstation. So a transcription program that I use is Anytune, which is available on Apple devices. And you can also use Music Speed Changer on Android or the Amazing Slow Downer on PC. Now, this is an interactive lesson, as in you can follow along with me. I will include the music that I'm going to be working through down below in the description to this video, so you can go download that and try this along with me. If you are ready to do this, go get that MP3, go download one of these programs. Again, they're all linked down below, and then you can go follow along with me. And now let's go jump into my transcription software. All right, guys, let me go show you how this is done. I am using Anytune, which is the app that I like to use on iPad and on my Mac and even on my phone, but it's only available on Apple devices. You have to use one of those other ones that I mentioned before, which are linked down below in the description if you don't have an Apple device. So on Anytune here, what I do is I add the song by clicking the little green button down there, and I would choose the song, but I already have that, so I'm going to go show you what it looks like. So this is what all transcription programs generally have, is you have this waveform going, which is your music, and you can see all the spikes when it gets louder, right? And you can scrub through it, and you have a couple different functions. One is to create loops. So we can go A, we can go B, we can start a loop there, and then this little section is going to loop, but I'll show you a little bit more about that later. And you also have some controls like changing the speed and changing the tuning, which is really great because obviously on harmonica, we don't have a lot of flexibility as far as keys go. So you can actually change the song to match your harmonica, so you can learn things even if you don't have the right harmonica. And that's actually one of the first problems that you have to encounter, but more on that in a second. Let's go take a listen to this little bit that we are going to be working on today. All right, that's what we're going to try and learn together. So the first thing that we generally do is we got to get like the baseline stuff established. First, what's the key? Now, if you have a couple harmonicas, you can pick up a couple harmonicas and you could try to play them and try to go figure it out. But another option is to just go look it up on the internet. So let me go show you how that's done. All right, so let's go say the song that you're learning is a normal song that was recorded by someone and you want to learn some riffs out of that. Let's say Juke by Little Walter. So the first thing that I would do to find the key, if I didn't know how to do it, aside from for me going and picking up a guitar and finding out the right notes, but if you don't have those skills, you got to figure it out in other ways. So I would go into Google and I would type in Juke, Juke, Little Walter key if I was going to learn this song, and very often it will just tell you the key right there. And you have to use your harmonica knowledge to figure out what key that is being played in. So if this is in the key of E, we would know that we would play Juke on an A harmonica as an example, if this is to be believed, and sometimes it's not. Another thing that you could do here is to go to the chords of the song, and you can find that on a site like Ultimate Guitar. Let's see right here. often, if we do this, we will have the key listed here for us that we can go and figure out. So as my program opens here, yeah, there we go, key of E. Now, if you just know how this goes, we can figure that out on a harmonica. So that's one way of finding the key for a song. And if you do have another instrument you play, like a piano or a guitar, that doesn't have the limitation that harmonica does, you can just go kind of pluck around and find the starting note. And very often that is the key for the song. And then you got to use your music theory knowledge to find out what position it's being played in. If you know the sound of the different harmonica positions, like first position sounds different than second position, which sounds different than third position, and so on and so forth. If you know that, you can go and identify this a lot quicker. But let me go back to the transcription program for now. And the first step, once we established the key, we know what part that we're going to learn, is we are going to create loop points. Now, I already know that the loop point here wants to be right there, so I click the A button over here, and I would go, listen through to the song, which I'm not going to do right now just to save time, and I put the B loop down here. Now, it's not good to just set the markers and leave it be. We got to create this into a loop, so I can click the loop button down here. Now, when we play it, at the end of the thing, it's going to loop back to the beginning. Let me show you. Now, just listening to it like that is something, of course, that you can do using like a YouTube video. You can just kind of keep scrubbing the playhead back and just keep repeating it. But let's use the functions of this program. It makes everything so much easier. So the first thing I would do is I would slow this way down, like 50%, maybe 60%. Sounds a little bit less garbled. So let's go take a listen here. So it would sound like that, kind of slow. The sound's going to be a little bit distorted just because you're slowing it down, but transcription programs are usually made well enough where it doesn't distort the sound too much. And once you know the harmonica that you're playing, this one is on a C harmonica in the key of G, but if it was in a different key, right? Let's say it was in the key of A, well, that is a step above this. It would be played on a D harmonica, and if I had a D harmonica, I can go and raise the tuning. Take a listen. So again, you can use that function to allow you to work with whatever harmonicas that you have. If you guys are enjoying this lesson, can you do me a favor and click the like button? It takes a lot of effort to make these videos, and I would appreciate it if you show your thanks by clicking that button, which helps me reach more people. I appreciate it, guys. So I'm going to go back here to the start of the loop. And now what we would do is we would either loop the whole thing and then figure it out, or we would loop, maybe a little particular riff that we are working on. So let's go take a listen. Let's just go find a riff to do here. I'm going to jump into it. Here we go. Let's say I wanted to learn that little bit right here. Well, maybe I can make my loop points a little bit more specific. So let's say there's the B. Let's find the first part. Yeah, let's say right about there. Let's take a listen to that. Okay, let's say we are going to learn this little bit here. Now, you can get out a piece of paper or like a note-taking software. I use Noto here, and that's what I do. I kind of have them side by side, and I go and just listen. And what I do is I slow the speed down here, let's say to 60%. And then you would grab your harmonica and try to figure it out. So let's see, what's the starting note? It's one draw. Okay, so I'd go in my note-taking software, I do one draw, but again, you can do this on a piece of paper, and just know how to rate your tabs. It'll save you a lot of time. So that's the first note. Let's keep listening. And now you just got to go and figure these out. So if I was new to this riff, it would take me a little bit longer than this, but of course I wrote this, so I can't go and transcribe this for you exactly, right? Because it's mine. But we have one drop, and then we got to find the next note, da, da, da. And that's something that I do too. Maybe you can sing the riff so you don't have to deal with all the distortion, and just use the ability to slow it down to make it a little bit more obvious on that riff to sing. Now, if you can get it in your head, you can generally get it on your harmonica. So I would listen to it. Da 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 da. That's what I'm hearing. Now I got to figure that out on my harmonica. And then there's like a bend up. Okay, so that would be that first little bit. Now I would write that down. One draw, two blow, one draw, two draw. And then I do a scoop up to two draw. There's a whole step bend, and it scoops up to two draw. Like that, and I add a little bit of vibrato. And then you just keep listening to it to figure out the parts that you missed. And then I da 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 da. Okay, what's that now? There we go. That's one draw. And now da 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 da. Ah, that's two whole step draw bend. Okay, and this is the process, and you would just go work this out step by step and just figure this out on your own. Being able to slow it down is going to let you hear all of the little details that are happening that you really won't be able to catch at full speed. If you still can't catch it, keep slowing it down. I mean, this is still work that you have to do, right? The programs will give you the tool where you can go learn this by ear. And then eventually, if you do this a bunch, your skills at picking up music by ear, even without the transcription program, will really improve. And then once you have the thing learned, let me just go focus on this first little riff. Let's just find it. Let's say right there. Let's shorten my loop point. Okay, then we can change the speeds to practice this and train this up to speed. Now, on most programs, you have to start, at 50, and then you increase it a little bit, and you increase it a little bit. But Anytune here has a really fantastic function, which is its training mode. So if I type this in, if I click this button here, we have our training mode. And what it's going to do is it's going to repeat 10 times and get a little bit faster each time. I'm only going to loop it maybe 3 times, so take a listen. And as you can see, the speed keeps increasing. And as you do that and you figure this riff out, you can slowly speed it up until you get to full speed, and then you can play the whole thing. And you can do this not just on harmonica riffs, but you can do this on vocal melodies, a saxophone riff, a guitar riff, anything that you want. Just know that harmonica has some limitations as far as what notes you can play if you can't do overblows very well, which, let's be real, most players can't, and that's totally okay. Don't feel bad if you don't know how to overblow. It's really an advanced technique, but just know that if you can't do that, we are a little bit limited chromatically. And also, if you're learning something that is, let's say, played on a saxophone, and there's a note that is bent that you can't bend on your harmonica because the note just doesn't fall in the same place, well, you're going to just have to make do with that limitation and find some way to make it work. All right, guys, I hope that was helpful. Thank you guys for joining me, and I will see you next week. Peace.